People spend fortunes on trying to overcome stress, depression, anxiety, yet you say that these are all easy to cure. How can you say that?
Well, they're a choice. Now, I know that's very crass of me to say that, but they're all a choice. We choose what goes on in here, right? Well, we think we have. So we have the illusion of choice. We have the illusion of choice because we don't actually have a structure. And without a structure, you cannot control it. But if you've got a structure, then it's impossible to, after a while, it's impossible to go the wrong way. Remember I said a little while ago, it was actually easier to think the right way than to think the wrong way. What happens is, when you know that there is, and I don't mean know as in believe or anything as weak as that. When I say know as in living a way of life, when you know that there is absolutely no benefit in you thinking one way, it's very easy to just let it go, because you look at it from a, once you go back to your natural way of being a benefits-driven creature, you just drop it. It becomes nothing. And once it's all about putting signposts in. And once you put a signpost in, where normally your thought pattern, because obviously our neural pathways are created when we think one way, you put a signpost in so that when the next problem, that problem comes up again, and it goes, right, you should be depressed, you should be angry, you should be worried, you should be stressed, whatever it is. That depression that's there, it's like, right, okay, signpost, boom, oh, stop, wait, think, right, okay. Well, we've been down the stressed road, and we know that has no benefit to us because this is what happens, this is the result it gets, and that sort of thing. So but the other way of not stressed, actually, that road's really nice. So in that instant, you can choose. Now, I've simplified that, but it is very, very simple. That's effectively what happens. It's a choice, and all you have to have a pattern interrupt that stops the same pattern of destruction, which is the stress, the anxiety, the depression, the overwhelm, the fear, the worry, whatever it is. You have a pattern interrupt that comes in, because once you've gone and explored where that depression or where the stress or where the anxiety takes you, and you have a structure that goes, well, this can't actually benefit me, it's very easy to cure. I'm not saying 100% of all, all people can do this straight away. This is a repetition thing, because the mind has we've grown our mind, and so these pathways have been created. Some people get this straight away, and I have emails come in from people who say, I had an email, which was probably my favourite one actually. He says, I've been 31 years clinically depressed. I've been reading the 5 free chapters of your books, and I'm now no longer on the medication. I only started reading them 7 days ago. So, last thing I want to do is say to people, stop taking your medication like that. But the point is that, it's once you can choose, once you've got the choice, as an example, there's I can choose, it's like happiness is a choice. I don't know if we're going to cover this later or not, but happiness is, we are covering it, yeah? Yeah, we are. Okay, so I won't cover that one, but once you can actually choose what's going on inside your mind, and once you can choose what's going on inside your mind, you can stop depression, you can stop anxiety, you can stop stress. Yeah, it's not really overcoming them. It's literally, you just drop them. They're not there anymore. They're useless. And so once you recognise them as useless, once you put a sign in your mind and you see it as useless, over a period of time, once you notice, let's say depression is effectively you taking a hammer out and smacking yourself on the head. So once you notice you're doing that, there's only so much time before you go, I'm going to stop. I'm going to put that down, right? And then you might find a few months later, start it again. Why have I picked this up again? You put it down again. Yeah, because once you've created the signposts in your mind, which is structured thought, that's it. It becomes over a period of time, depending on the individual. It can happen instantly. I mean, I do some work with the guys who suffer with post-traumatic stress disorder. And once that's a very similar thing. You can cure it in exactly the same way. But, that's all it is. Once you notice what the problem is, and you notice yourself hitting yourself on the head with it, it's like, I'm doing this to myself. I can stop. And once you can do that, that's it. It dissolves.
It's true what you said. Actually, it's one of the examples that I have, about depression, right? It's, my girlfriend. my girlfriend, she's been, I mean, she's been living with or dealing with depression for more than, I don't know, like 20 years or something like that. And apparently in the past, it was like really, really bad. And because actually ever since we got the books, and actually it was her idea. I had no idea, man, I had no idea about these books or about you, nothing at all, like until a couple of months back when I met you, when I went to Las Vegas with my girlfriend. And it was because she asked me to, right? And she bought these books, and just by reading those things and applying some of the strategies that you explained very well, I personally have noticed a massive change in her. Okay, it's just amazing how something like quite delicate like depression can be cured, not instantly, as you say. I mean, it could be cured instantly. It depends on the person and how this person applies the things.
All of a sudden, there'll be a trip at one point.
That's right.
Just all of a sudden, why was I doing that? And it'll be like, well, that was a different person. That's what happens. And it can take a different amount of time for each person, but it does work. It always works.
Yeah, and right now, the cool thing is she actually recognizes, she actually noticed when she's depressed. I mean, what makes her depressed, which it wasn't happening before. Yeah, so she can stop that right there. Yeah,
Yep.
It doesn't go any further, which is pretty cool. I mean, for her and for us, for our relationship as well, which is amazing.
That's the essence. You catch it at the right point and you're laughing.
If someone wants to really up-level their standard of the quality of life, their vision of personal growth and achievement in terms of business success or family relationships or personal growth, I mean, it's phenomenal. It is transformative.
Since reading the books, I don't judge people. I don't worry about anything. I've got the techniques to, if anything comes into my mind, I think, well, that's not helping me. So I don't worry. I don't get stressed. I live in the now, and just a lot more peaceful. And I just feel that life's going the right way.
I have found out that things like stress, fear, anxiety, these things are illusions. And when situations come up in your life, if you can actually just refer back to at least learning those things that you've learned through the books, it makes your life much easier, it makes your life better, and it starts, in my case, to put me on a better path.
As everything really valuable in life, most things are really simple, and it's all about finding the things that you love to do, and the financial benefit is a byproduct of that. Yeah.
Who he is being just speaks volumes. There's a wisdom, there's a knowledge, and there's a real generous sharing of the heart that comes across that makes all the difference in the world.
So his philosophy is different to other personal development books because he shows the practical way of personal development or his concept.
And one useful thing I've done through reading the books is to actually stop watching TV like a robot, and it's freed up time for me to do things like read books, which I think will do me far more good than just sitting in front of the TV watching a whole string of programs that I never even remember or do me any good,
My mind had been shifted significantly. I understand more about a lot of things. My mind opened more, and I know for sure that by applying these techniques, I'm living my design.
I like the way he delivered it in simple language so that the lay person in it can understand.
There's a system in place that teaches, that shows us that if we, follow these steps and apply it with vigilance and commitment, it's possible to have a real powerful transformation.
Since I've read the books, my worries and fears have all gone. I am 100% happier, and I live my life to the full.
So it gives you a purpose and a sort of focus, and perhaps a start and end point, so you know exactly where you're going to. Because the hardest part of any journey is actually taking the first step.
So, yeah, I do know that it's going to change things radically on all fronts. Whatever you want can happen, actually.
Just do it. You know, it's just to take you to that level. You'll know what you want, or if you don't know what you want, you'll know how to find out what you want. You'll know how to get the things that you want in your life, and you'll have great fun.
We can learn and understand things, but when we actually learn to know it and integrate it and apply it in what we're doing in our lives, anything is possible, and that is so exciting.